Brandon Ingram's trade value has been devalued because of the blood clots. Right now, apparently, it's not the same thing like what Chris Bosh went through, but still some teams are scared off, and there's a cooling off for the Brandon Ingram trade market. Although maybe part of that, as Stephen A. sometimes points out, is that's what teams are using to negotiate. But, we will see. Kyle Kuzma is not a defensive player and did not have a very good shooting season and is not considered a guy with a huge upside. He's considered more or less what he's going to be, which is a nice player, maybe. And Lonzo Ball has upside, but his value is really viewed differently by different teams. Some think this guy's a future all-star. Others think, nah, there's too far to go still. So if that's not enough, even in a 3-team deal, to get a trade for Anthony Davis done, and there are no other stars who are going to sign with LeBron, he should be worried right now about being alone. This next season, AD will sign if he's a free agent, I believe. But this season, Stephen A., he should be worried.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say I appreciate the fact that this is treated as some sort of breaking news when I've been on First Take for the last 5 months talking about how I'm worried about the Lakers there are no free agents that are talking about coming to Los Angeles. But that's neither here nor there. First Take is discussing.
Was that you?
Oh, yeah. And you. I mean, damn it, it got to a point where it was you. I mean, the reality is that it's something that we've been talking about for months. So, okay, that's fine. Sports Center, congratulations. Here's the deal. Okay? I would actually tell you that the chances of somebody coming to L.A. to play with LeBron have actually increased, potentially, in the last few hours since KD went down. Because if you recall, and I'm not reporting here, I'm just deducing logically. Kevin Durant was going to be the alpha dog in a package deal in a multitude of places. The New York Knicks believe they have a shot with Kawhi, even though I don't believe that. Toronto or the Los Angeles Clippers is what I'm hearing about him. The Los Angeles Lakers believe they had an outside shot with Kyrie, but Kyrie, his man is KD, and they were planning on being in Brooklyn or with the New York Knicks together. Klay Thompson is planning on staying with the Golden State Warriors as long as they're knocking on his door the second the deadline expires and they're available to give him the 5-year, max deal at $191 million and not a penny less and not a year less. Make no mistake about that. So, and of course, with Kemba Walker, Kemba Walker is your fallback plan because he'd come to New York in a heartbeat if Kyrie, for some reason, decided that he was going to go solo and be on his own and go to L.A. or Brooklyn, and KD was going to come to New York and was willing to take Kemba with him. So the point that I'm trying to make is, I just gave you the top 5 marquee free agents. We all know what the Lakers offered the New Orleans Pelicans in order to get Anthony Davis. So that's a trade. That's not free agency. So we're looking at it from the standpoint that KD was really, really formidable because KD wasn't talking about going somewhere by himself. He was talking about grabbing somebody with him, and that was going to upset the apple cart to some degree. Now with KD down for all intent and purposes, KD, it's possible, not likely, but possible. KD can miss the entire 2019-2020 season, at the very least half of it, okay? You don't know what that's going to force others to do. If I planned on playing with KD, suddenly Southern California and LeBron James don't look so bad. Suddenly, it's plausible. And so I'm not saying, again, I'm not reporting anything. I'm just saying that as a basketball fan who knows what I know about free agency before KD went down, now that KD is down, and you don't have to worry about him, because remember what we said, he's going to be out for at least half the season, possibly the entire season. You've got people speculating that he may not be the same for at least another 2 years. Well, these guys that are healthy now, they might not want to take that risk. They might not want to go someplace else and wait for him for 2 years.
KD stays now because of the injury.
Exactly. So what I'm saying to you is all of those components has given a tremendous assist to LeBron James because he's also one of the greatest players in the world. And if you don't have KD as an option in your mind, well, what the hell is wrong with Southern California? Them palm trees, that sunshine, and LeBron James. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The Lakers could end up being the biggest benefactors of KD going down than anybody else.
Yeah, but what's wrong with Southern California is the way Jeannie Buss, it pains me to say this, I'm a huge fan of her and her families, and I'm a Lakers fan. But the way the team has been operated, Pelinka is there. That's like, they ran Magic out of town.
Well, let me give you some news there.
It seems dysfunctional.
Let me give you some news there. it was absolutely embarrassing when they were interviewing coaches, and you know, Jalen and others know this as well. When they were interviewing coaches, if the Clippers interviewed somebody right now, or they interviewed a prospective free agent, whatever, it would be 3 people in the room. It would be Doc Rivers, it would be Steve Ballmer, it would be Jerry West. 9 different people showed up. Something like 8 or 9 different people showed up. I don't know what the number was, but Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis and Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss and, I mean,
if the Rambises are in the room, you're done.
Exactly. And then Kurt Rambis, God bless him, because a really nice guy.
Yeah, sure.
100 games under 500 as a head coach in 2 years in Minnesota, and you actually have something to do with picking the next head coach? That is just embarrassing.
It also shows
it's just embarrassing.
A franchise not being run properly. I want to make one more point before we end on this topic. There are superstars, KD, Kawhi, arguably Kyrie, maybe right under that, Clay, Jimmy Butler, Kemba Walker on a sliding scale, right? Those are all all-star caliber and better players. Then there's some sometime all-star players, or might be all-star players any given year kind of guys, like Al Horford, Chris Middleton. I'll tell you someone like Mirotic. I like Mirotic a lot. I think he could have a big season next year. But my point is this. If the price falls on those guys where you can scoop them up at a deal, and the guy I'm thinking about is Isaiah Thomas when he was on Sacramento and he became a free agent, right? He was like, he wound up getting $7 million a year. And he's the next thing to a top all-star type player at the time. If the Lakers scoop a couple of those guys.
Yeah, but you're talking about what can help you win in that regard. But remember with the Lakers, because of what you described with Jeannie Buss, remember if LeBron James doesn't miss 17 straight games and 18 or 19 games overall because of that groin injury, they still make the playoffs. So we understand that in the eyes of players, the situation is not as bad, it's not as desolate as we come across. And if you get another dude to pair with LeBron James, their attitude is, oh, we can overcome Jeannie Buss and them because they can't play for us. We still got to go on the court and play for ourselves. And oh, by the way, when we get off work, we near Rodeo.